Okay, now who is Dale? Dale is the owner of Balls Inc. Okay, and that's a sporting goods store. Okay, so before you might have been thinking that's something else, but it's a sporting goods store, and so they both have a fairly good amount of assets, and so 100 credits, which in my mind I'm thinking a credit's worth about $10, is that would be $1,000. So at least because they both have a fair amount of assets, it's reasonable to trust somebody with $1,000. Okay, and the way this works now. So, and then on the diagram, what I've drawn is between Balls Inc. and Foods Inc. there's a dotted arrow that goes both ways and 100 above the dotted arrow. And the dotted arrow is just representing that there's a line of credit there that could be used, but it's dotted because it doesn't because this arrow does not represent a debt. Now here's where it gets kind of complicated. So Dale has an employee, Jill. Okay, happens that Jim and Jill are dating, but Dale has an employee, Jill, and Jill works 1 week and gets paid 4 credits. Okay, so Jim's getting paid 3, Jill's getting paid 4. They're working at different stores. And so what I have to denote this situation after 1 week is this diagram where there's a dotted line between Balls Inc. and Foods Inc. that with 100 above it to denote that that's credit that could be extended. And then there's an arrow going up from Balls Inc. to Jim, to Balls Inc. to Jill, and an arrow going up from Foods Inc. to Jim with the number of credits that is owed. Okay, so it's 3 on Jim and 4 on Jill. Okay, so that's just a diagram that helps us keep track of just 2 debt relationships at once. But now it gets even more complicated. In my example, I have that Jill buys a pair of shoes for 2 credits. She also buys 2 credits of apples and potatoes from Wanda. Okay, so she spent some of her credits with Dale and some of her credits with Wanda. Okay, or Balls Inc. and Foods Inc. So she got to choose how she wanted to spend her credits under this system. And Jim spent I believe 1 credit at Dale's place at Balls Inc. and 2 credits at Foods Inc. Okay, and so this diagram, the diagram that would explain this, is kind of complicated. After all those debts are processed, there's 2 debts, but at least in the diagram I represented the relationship of Balls Inc. and Jill as 2 debts. Okay, one going up, which is 4 towards Jill, so that's a credit of 4 towards Jill. That was her income, and going down, there's an arrow with 2 by it. That's what she spent at Balls Inc. Okay, but if you look at Jill, I also put an arrow going down and to the side towards Foods Inc., which has a 2 by it, representing the 2 credits spent at Foods Inc. Okay, and similarly with Jim. Okay, Jim has an arrow going down to Balls Inc. and to Foods Inc. Now, if we were reasonable people, we're not going to have, a situation where I owe you $3 but you owe me $2, right? We would just say, well, if I owe you 3 and you owe me 2, if I owe you 3 and you owe me 2, why don't I just pay you $1? We'll be even, right? So technically that's the same as I just owe you $1. So I've got, so this diagram will simplify, and when it simplifies, there's just 1 arrow left. There's 1 arrow between Balls Inc. owing Foods Inc. 1 credit. Okay. Now, it's a little hard to see, but on these slides, it's set up to show what I jokingly call an animation of how you might cancel this diagram. So with the diagram that we started with, if we cancel the reciprocating debts, then that gets rid of a few arrows. But there's other simplifications that can be done. Okay, Balls Inc. At this stage, Balls Inc. would owe Jill 2 credits, and Jill would owe Foods Inc. 2 credits. Okay, so that's basically the same as just Balls Inc. owing Foods Inc. 2 credits, right? If you might as well just relieve Balls Inc. debt to Jill and transfer it to Foods Inc. Okay, and that's what this Shire Hour monetary payment system will allow us to do. Okay, it allows it's actually implemented in a computer that will find that relationship and cancel that debt and make a new debt. So that way, instead of two different debts, it can be represented as just one debt. Okay, and so I have the next slide, which now instead of 4 arrows has 3 arrows, and similarly with Jim, we can cancel basically Balls Inc. debt to Jim, but when we do that, we relieve 1 credit of Balls Inc. debt to Foods Inc. Okay, so that's how I've got this diagram to show. So in that big complicated situation where you got Jim and Jill buying from both Balls Inc. and Foods Inc., that complicated situation actually reduces to just a simple state of Balls Inc. owing Foods Inc. 1 credit. Okay, but after 1 week, that's it. Okay, so now if we use the Shire Hours system, that's at shirehours.com. You can set up an account there. Your account then set up some trust relationships like Wanda and Dale did with people you know, and allow them to go into debt with you. That's what creates this type of system. I mean, so I'm giving you an abstract example, but you can concretely do this with Shire Hours, or the original implementation was called Ripple Pay, developed by Ryan Fugger. And since I mentioned Ryan Fugger, he told me to tell you that, the main motivation behind this this program, he's the guy that wrote the program. That's where he comes into this story. So Ryan Fugger says that this whole concept is exactly what the banks do. Okay, banks have this. Banks will loan each other money, you know, overnight rate, all that type of stuff. Banks will loan each other money all the time, and when they do so, they will cancel debts in this same manner, okay, because it's just easier. They're not going to shift these dollar bills around if they don't need to. Okay, after a while, we have a situation where Balls Inc. owes Foods Inc. 45 credits. Okay, so Foods Inc., I guess people are more likely to shop at a grocery than at a sporting goods store. So over as time develops, now this would be many weeks, there might be a residual debt there of 45 credits. Now, let me talk about how this type of situation could be resolved. Okay, where you have this debt building up and there's a limit of 100 credits. So once that debt limit gets up to 100, then it won't allow any more debt. So how could we resolve a large debt accumulating after many weeks? Okay, my slides don't represent this, but there is you can very simply have so if Balls Inc. owes Foods Inc. 45 credits, you could simply have Balls Inc. give Foods Inc. whatever amount of money or whatever amount of commodity, for example silver, to relieve that debt, and you could, and then so when that payment is made, Foods Inc. would simply give a payment in the system to Balls Inc. of 45 credits. Basically, they're buying silver or dollars from Balls Inc. Okay, and now this diagram that I have set up here is to illustrate a feature of this program, and the feature is that there can be a debt on the system where the debtor, the person in debt who's unwilling to pay, automatically, even though the debtor's unwilling to pay, the system will basically pay it off over time. Okay, now there's some assumptions here that makes this work. The assumptions are that the debtor keeps using the system. Okay, so somebody's in debt in the system and they say, I don't want to pay. The only way they could actually not pay the debt is to not use the system at all. Okay, so not accept payments in the system and not ever give any payments in the city, or I guess they could give payments, but they basically would have a bad credit rating after that point. So